Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the concept of interfaces in Java programming. Before getting into the concept, we'll see a small recall about inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but deriving a child class from a parent class, and this supports the reusability of code in programming languages. We have many types of inheritance like single inheritance, multi-level, hierarchical, multiple, and hybrid inheritance. Java do support all these types of inheritance except multiple and hybrid inheritance. So why we need interface in Java? We have three main reasons. The very first one is total abstraction, or else we can say abstraction. By declaring the methods of interface separately and implementing those methods in class separately, we achieve abstraction here. And next reason is multiple inheritance. As we have seen earlier, Java does not support multiple inheritance directly. So for implementing this concept, obviously we need interface in Java. And next one is, the final one is loose coupling. As we have seen earlier, the method declaration and implementation of method has been done separately in the program. So both the parts have been independent of each other. And now we are going to see a detailed view about interfaces. Interface is helpful for achieving the polymorphism concept. By utilizing the interface, we can achieve an one interface multiple method concept in programming language. And by implementing the interface in classes, we can use all the methods, and we must use all the methods which has been declared inside an interface. As a class has been implementing an interface, it must define all the methods that has been declared inside a interface. It does not leave a single method also. It has to implement all the methods which has been declared inside an interface. Okay, now we'll be seeing about the syntaxes of interface. The very first one is defining. As we seen earlier, defining part and implementation part of interface has been done separately in various places. So first we are going to see about defining an interface. For defining an interface, you have to use a syntax with access, interface keyword, and your interface name. Access is nothing but it is an access modifier. As we all know, there are different types of access modifiers like public, private, and protected. You can use one among them for this access. And next one is, definitely we have to use the interface keyword, as we use class keyword for creating a class. And next one is name. So the name has to be a user defined name, and it must not be a reserved keyword. We must not use keywords as interface name. And finally, inside the interface, you are going to declare the variables and methods which has to be implemented in different classes. We can declare n number of variables and n number of methods inside an interface. Okay, now we'll be seeing how we are going to implement these interfaces in a class. So we can implement these interfaces by using access, class name. So this access is the access modifier and class is your keyword. Class name is an user defined name. And which class has to be implement this interface has to be given here. So for as we have seen in inheritance, for extending an class, we'll be using the keyword extend. So here for implementing the interface, we have to use the keyword implements. This is what the difference between interface and inheritance. So for extending a class or inheriting a class, we have to use the keyword extends, and for implementing the interface, we have to use the keyword implements. And finally, you have to create the class body. So let us see an example for better understanding. Here we have an example for finding the area of a rectangle and circle using interface. So the very first line is an import statement. So we have to use what kind of packages are to be used inside the program, and we have to import those packages inside the program. And see, the very next line is we have created an interface using the keyword interface. So here the interface name is area. And finally, we have declared a variable, a method inside this interface. The variable name is pi. We have assigned the value, constant value for this pi variable. And next one is the method compute with two parameters x and y. And all these variables and methods are of data type float. Okay, let us see how we'll be implementing this interface into a class. So next we have created a class rectangle which implements the area interface. We can understand that this particular class has used this interface by seeing the keyword implements. So we have seen already when a class implements an interface, it has to use all the methods defined in the interface or declared in the interface. So we here have only one method, and this class rectangle has used that method. So here we are defining the method compute, and for finding the area of the rectangle, we are just multiplying, or we are just finding the product of x and y. Next we have created a class circle which also implements the interface area. Here also we have used the compute method, and we are calculating the area by using the formula pi into x into x. Okay, so we are going to create a main class. So the main class name is class interface circle, and for defining or for just ensuring that this is the main class, we are creating a main method in this class. And next we are just getting the inputs from the user like length and breadth of the rectangle. And next we are getting the radius for calculating the area of circle from the user. And finally we are creating two objects over here. One is for rectangle class and another one is for circle class. As we discussed earlier, this particular interface concept is for supporting the multiple inheritance concept in Java programming. So we have to create objects for these two classes separately. And finally, we are creating an instance for the interface area. And we are reassigning these two class objects into this area AR variable. Okay, is that clear? So finally we are calling the method using this AR instance. So AR.compute L comma B and AR.compute R comma 0. And we have to see why we have passed 0 instead of any variable. As we know, we need length and breadth for computing the rectangle area, and for computing the circle's area, we need only radius. But we have passed two parameters inside this compute method. We can't leave this second parameter empty. So instead of leaving this empty, for avoiding errors, we are just passing a 0 value into this variable or parameter y. This zero does not have any impact in this program as we are only using the x parameter inside the formula. Is that clear? So we'll just recall once again. First, we have to create an interface by using the interface keyword. We have to declare the methods and variables inside that. And we are creating two different classes, rectangle and circle, for implementing this created interface. And finally, we are creating a main class for accessing all these objects, all these classes using an object. So here is the output for the program defined above. So enter the length and breadth of the rectangle. So I have entered some values, and finally it is asking for the radius for calculating the circle's area, and we are calculating area of rectangle and area of circle.